It's a beautiful early evening in Los Angeles. Temperature in the 70s. Sunny skies for the moment as we approach the twilight period. The lights will not take full effect for another hour and a half or so. Dodger Stadium filling up for Game 1 of the National League Championship Series as the New York Mets take on the Los Angeles Dodgers. That man, Orel Hershiser, who figures to have wrapped up the Cy Young Award. He and Danny Jackson were neck and neck going down the stretch. 4 switch hitters in the Mets lineup tonight. And they also have 2 pure left-handed batters. He lines it to right, but right to Marshall. 1 out. 6 umpires work the league championship series. The young phenom called up just prior to the end of August. And he wraps one into right field for a base hit. And so if you're wondering about nerves, the 21-year-old in the minors until 5 weeks ago, he answers that question summarily.
In his first 13 games, he batted well over 400. And
so you see those numbers, those are high. Very quick move to the plate.
There he goes, and the pitch is lined and caught by Sachs. Easy double play. After a half, Mets nothing. Dodgers coming up. And that Dodger lineup will face this man. Dwight Doc Gooden. 18-9, 3.19 ERA. What a down to Sachs getting on base.
And with 42 steals, important that he does that.
And he begins with a base hit. And you can almost go to the bank on it. I think the Dodgers will try to send the Mets a very early message here.
Whether he runs or not, already Gooden's worrying too much about Sachs.
There he goes. The 2-1 pitch is high. The throw to second, not close. 0-1 the count with 1 out. And he grounds it to the right side. Backman throws Gibson out, and Sachs goes to third. 2 gone. Sachs at third, and Mike Marshall coming up.
Goes into the back of his left knee. Probably a little bit easier to treat than a hamstring, but maybe not in just a week.
Marshall hits a broken bat looper into right field for a base hit. 1-0.
By Fernando Valenzuela.
0-1 the count. And Shelby grounds one down to Backman, and Wally throws him out. But in the inning, because of speed, the Dodgers get a run and lead 1-0. Dodgers on top by a score of 1-0 as Darryl Strawberry leads off in the second inning and pops it up a mile high, and Hamilton and Griffin are there, and Hamilton will take care of it on the grass. 1 away. Kevin McReynolds coming to the plate.
Tell you what, it tells you the next time you can expect any time, anything at any time.
Got him on a sinker. Strikeout number 1 for Hershiser. And with 2 gone in the second inning, Davey Johnson will send Howard Johnson to the plate.
Fastball hitter.
Exactly. But what it's his strength against Howard Johnson's strength.
Line right into the glove of Franklin Stubbs. For the second inning, like the first, ends on a line drive out. And after 1.5, 1-0 Los Angeles.
Closer when this guy's on the mound.
And he said that too.
He loves it here, but he trails 1-0 as Socia leads off the bottom of the second by lifting one in the air to Mookie Wilson. 1 up and 1 down in the second inning. The void at third base for the Dodgers. It's really been a revolving door the last couple of seasons. Breaking pitch is hammered to deep left field, but McReynolds goes back and makes the catch on the track. 2 down. Hamilton sitting on it, but not getting all of it. With a chronic bad back, and it's acted up to the point that he's not eligible for this series as Johnson leaps up to make the catch. One shortstop robs the other. 1-0 LA after 2, and we'll be back after this word from your local station. Game 4 on Saturday in New York. We might have seen Ojeda.
26-27 against games that left-handers have started this year.
Little squibber up the line, and even Carter can beat this one out. With a guy like Carter at the plate, your third baseman can play very deep. Backman gets a chance to play. And now Wally back in there, and Wally had a good season at 303, a real good year. And he bunts up the line. Hamilton fields, throws to first just in time. Backman bunting as much for a base hit as to get the man over.
And Tommy Lasorda certainly hopes that's the case at Shea.
Breaking pitch got him.
Another reason why this game is so important, it gives Tommy a little bit more latitude.
He shook off something.
And a breaking pitch is whacked into right for a base hit. Marshall comes up with it. They will hold Carter at third as the throw comes in. Well, with a faster base runner.
That's what's impressed me. It's the bat head out.
Comeback. And the Mets lead two. And at the end of 2.5, Dodgers 1, Mets nothing.
Well, I think he's looking forward to it.
He's had a couple of battles in recent years with the Dodgers. 3-2 pitches high, so he's on. And obviously the last thing that Dwight Gooden wants to do, walk the leadoff man and the pitcher to boot.
Players were chosen before Hershiser.
2-2. And he was hit by it. So Sachs gets grazed by a pitch. And Gooden in a jam in the third inning, walking the pitcher and grazing
the pitcher. Got a number 2 hitter with a lot of power.
1-2, he swings away and down he goes. So Stubbs strikes out for the second time.
Lasorda will send the runners here.
He doesn't, and Gibson strikes out on a breaking pitch low and in on him.
So Gooden does what Hershiser's done. 3-2, doesn't matter what the count is. That and the curveball in the dirt, which is something we talked about. High and tight, low and away.
Chased it. Down he goes, and Dwight Gooden strikes out the side in the third. To the fourth we go. 1-0 LA. And he's a work of art to these fans. Leading 1-0, and he strikes Hernandez out on a pitch on the corner. And he says, what corner? Hollywood and Vine? To his own horn, the quiet one from Arkansas, but the way he came on at the end, he's liable to pick up a few votes. Stubbs shovels to Hershiser, and Strawberry becomes out number 2, and McReynolds comes to the plate. Now a reminder again, tomorrow at
A little bit better command of his pitches, a little bit better command of his curveball. Early on, they hit the ball pretty hard.
McReynolds breaks his bat on a bouncer to Hamilton, and down go the Mets in order in the fourth inning. At the end of 3.5, 1-0 Los Angeles.
But we better win 4 times before we have to face them 3 times in this series. That means that if they can win before they go 7, they got a good chance.
Shelby hits a fly ball to right field, and Strawberry gets underneath it. And to the Darrell chant makes the catch. 1 away. Gooden struck the side out in
a classic year. Very close to what Gibson did when you caught him back in 1968 with a 1.12 ERA.
Down goes Scioscia, and Mike wants to know if it was a strike. And I think Harry Wendelstedt answered in the affirmative.
Yes.
2-2 pitch is grounded to the right side. Juggled, knocked down, picked up by Backman. No! $1,465 regular season games, and there's only one guy who's played more and hasn't been to postseason, as Griffin hits a ground ball to the right side and Backman forces him at second. And we'll have the answer for you when we come back in the fifth. After 4, it's 1-0 Dodgers. Back after this word from your local station. Magic, great sports fan, and he might as well enjoy himself because he's going to training camp here in about a week. Howard Johnson starts the 5th inning by hitting one to deep center field, but room for Shelby to make the catch. One away. What about Dave Johnson, the Mets manager? Seasons, and I would have to think he will be invited back. Little squibber back to Hershiser, and Carter is out number 2, and that will bring up Backman. And yesterday, I know I had talked to Davey about what had happened in New York on Sunday. It didn't get a lot of play, but he was in the dugout, and they
does not throw between starts. One of the few pitchers that I know that doesn't do that.
Backman hits a fly ball to center field, and Shelby is there, and Hershiser has set down the last 7. At the end of 4½, still 1-0 Dodgers. Howard Johnson again played with Detroit. Now his second postseason action with the Mets. Hershiser tries to bunt his way on with 2 strikes, and down he goes. And Gooden records strikeout number 6.
And I know the feeling. When you figure you can't hit a guy, you better try something else.
Right. It's a new dish.
Yes.
1-2 pitch. Got him. Fastball. And Gooden now has 7 strikeouts in 4 2/3 innings. So 2 down, 5th inning. He is, and he's back again on an everyday basis. Once they traded Guerrero, it opened up first base once more, and Stubbs hits a ground ball backhanded by Backman, and down he goes. 1-2-3 inning for Gooden. End of 5. Dodgers 1. Mets nothing.
To Mike Scott, and then he locked up with Nolan Ryan. First time he went over 9 innings, as a matter of fact.
He strikes out here, and again, he's in a situation a la 86, pitching very well, but somebody's pitching a little bit better. 1 gone.
Of course, that's what you gear yourself up for. A tremendous admiration for what he went through last year, and it seems like he's got himself back on the right track.
Mookie Wilson hits a bouncer to short, and Alfredo Griffin throws it out. 2 down.
Orel Hershiser
coming to Dodger Stadium, playing 3rd for the Mets. And he grounds one by where Say used to play into left field for a base hit. So Jeffries with a single, 2 out here in the 6th inning.
Don't wear batting gloves. He's got batting gloves on now, but not at the plate.
And he rips one into center field for a base hit, and Jeffries, without hesitating, goes to 3rd. So with 2 out, the Mets threaten here in the 6th inning. And it's the first time tonight, make it the 2nd time tonight, they've gotten the man to 3rd base.
But you don't want to throw a strike in to this guy.
Stays away, and it's grounded down to Stubbs. And Orel Hershiser still hasn't given up a run since August. 1-0 Dodgers in the middle of the 6th. And it really wouldn't have an effect on a team, even with the timing on the eve of the League Championship Series.
No.
Gibson goes down on strikes. And Dwight Gooden doing a pretty good 1985 imitation tonight.
But he does say things that I'm sure he regrets. This was one of them.
Here's the 0-2 pitch to Marshall. Got him. Again, it's 9 strikeouts. Marshall gone twice on strikes. And it will bring up Shelby.
This does not look like the guys whose tune-up last
against rookie Tim Belcher. 10 o'clock, 10 p.m. Eastern time. Half swing, down he goes. 10 strikeouts for Dwight Gooden after 6. Dodgers 1, Mets nothing. Back in Los Angeles after this word from your local station. 1 run. Popped up on a breaking pitch. Alfredo Griffin. 1 away. Johnson coming up.
Go back to the last time that Hershiser pitched against the Dodgers.
In and out to left-handers and to right-handers. The curveball and a straight change.
Another easy grounder. Sacks. 2 down in the 7th inning. And Gary Carter comes to the plate.
And he said in his streak. Of course, we're talking about the scoreless innings.
He was the man who kept Drysdale's streak alive with a call back in '68. Breaking pitch, hand swing, yes! One up by McSherry for strike 3. Double Quinella here tonight. You've got the 2 umpires who perpetuated the 2 pitchers' streaks, and everybody's in the park as Sosa grounds one down the right field line into the corner. Fielded by Strawberry, and Sosa on his way to second, in with a double. This will do the job. He swings away and grounds it to Hernandez, and it advances Sosa, so that's as good as a bunt. Though you don't get a sacrifice. It's a time at bat for Hamilton. 1 down, and now, very contrary to the way Davy Johnson plays.
Putting high fastball. Right. A little bit of intimidation here.
Hit into right field, base hit over the drawn-in infield. 2-0. Stayed up, and Griffin got it up over Backman.
Footed catcher, right, Timmy?
Right, Timmy.
Timmy who? Strike with Griffin going. Throw in time. So on a 2-0 pitch, they send Griffin. The pitch is a strike taken by Hershiser, and Carter guns him down 2-6. That's grounded to short. Johnson throws out Hershiser. Gooden escapes further damage, but the Dodgers get a big insurance run on 2 hits. And at the end of 7, Dodgers 2, Mets nothing.
The big pitch when he's had to, and the pitch selection's been outstanding. We talked about that earlier, Tim.
Got him. 6 strikeouts. 1 out in the 8th inning, and now Len Dykstra comes up to bat for Dwight Gooden.
There's a chance to challenge right now. There's no curveball. This is a fastball.
And Dykstra walks, and that's news. That's the first walk given up by Hershiser tonight.
You know, the interesting thing about the lineup that Davy Johnson put out there is that this is his offensive lineup.
Mookie Wilson is 1 for 3 tonight. Hit .296 during the regular season. It's a grounder, steered by Griffin. Double play. After 7.5, the Dodgers and Lasorda on top 2-0. Gone down to defeat. A whole other story. 2-0 LA. Bottom of the 8th inning is Sachs. Starts with a grounder to short. Corralled by Johnson. 1 away. Randy Myers is the new pitcher. Len Dykstra stays in the game. There's Myers. He'll hit in Mookie Wilson's spot.
Franklin Stubbs, but Woodson a much better defensive first baseman than Hatcher. So he's in there for his offense now and defense in the bottom of the 9th, or excuse me, the top of the 9th.
Hernandez down the line, and he makes the catch in foul territory for the 2nd out. When the Mets come up in the top of the 9th inning now, it'll be Jeffries, Hernandez.
But I just think it's a bad technical play to be bunting with 2 out and nobody on. If you pop 1 out, you lengthen the lead.
And he loops that one in foul territory toward the dugout. Here comes Jeffries. Look out into the Dodger dugout. He makes the catch and is cradled by Woodson. And the last time we saw that, George Brett was sliding into the dugout. Hershiser. This is almost a dreamlike game for Lasorda and the Dodgers to this point. On the verge of a victory and a pretty low pitch count, but Jeffries whacks it into center field for a base hit. And we say a dreamlike thing for Lasorda to this point, because what he'd like to do is bring Hershiser back on 3 days rest. Woodson, who is the new first baseman for the Dodgers, can take the liberty of playing behind him. The tying run at the plate, and he's going to go and exploit it, and it's hit down to Woodson, who makes the play at first base. So he was playing behind him, and Jeffries figured, why not go to second?
Jeffries is off the bag now. Pardon me.
Cover out, as you said, out of the strike zone.
Line into right center for a base hit. That will score a run. The Dodger outfield very deep, and Strawberry will take advantage by sliding into second with a double. So So Jeffries comes in to score to make it 2-1, and the tying run is now at second base. Turns it over now to Jay Howell in his first year with the Dodgers. Here's the inside pitch from Mike Schmidt.
Of a fastball because it's up there too quickly. Good play by Socia.
3-1 to McReynolds, ball 4. Tying run and go-ahead run on base. And now Howard Johnson comes up.
Usually don't hang a curveball like that and get away with it. The tighter the spin, the better chance of doing it.
Got him on a curve. So a fastball pitcher against a fastball hitter, and he never throws a fastball. Line to center field, and with the outfield deep, Shelby can't make the catch as Strawberry comes in to score, and McReynolds is being waved in the throw to Socia. Socia blocks the plate, but without the ball, and McReynolds is saved. And with the Dodger outfield deep for Carter, it costs him, as Shelby just falls short of coming up with it. Carter at second, 2 down, 0-2 the count. And a breaking pitch is hit down to Sachs. And the inning is over, but the Mets get 3. And at the end of 8.5, it's the Mets 3 and the Dodgers 2. Myers in the bottom of the 9th inning. And the Mets make a change. They move Kevin Elster in at shortstop. And there he is, taking over for Howard Johnson. And he's right into the game, catching a line drive for the out. 1 pitch and 1 out in the 9th inning.
More right-handed pitchers in the league than left-handers. Very dangerous from this side.
And he grounds it down to second, and Backman will throw him out. And Dempsey will come up to bat for Socia.
I'll tell you, Randy Myers, in going over to first base, almost ran into Hernandez.
Bring him back on 3 days, and that dream has now gone to a terrible nightmare with 2 out of the 9th inning. And a fly ball to shallow right field, and Backman backs up and gives the Mets a 1-0 lead in the series. The Mets come up with 3 in the 9th after they were down to their last strike and shocked the Dodgers